So out of the business, how do you celebrate the first day here of a Thanksgiving holiday week?
I've always had a secret love of haberdasheries, so this has been kind of like a lifelong thing for me. And everybody reaches their breaking point, and I'll be honest. The biggest surprise for me was I really thought that my breaking point would be reached in some circumstances involving the University of Alabama. So that's probably the biggest surprise is that it didn't. It was something else. But, usually I'm doing show prep at this time, so I was able to listen to you guys and switch over and get a little bit of content. And there's a MASH marathon on Sundance. So I'm like catching up on some old episodes of MASH that I haven't seen in a long time. It's really quite relaxing, I got to tell you.
Charlie, does New York have it out for New Orleans? I mean, really. I mean, Peyton said it. It was a bad day for New York yesterday, but I was in the Dome, and you can feel it. Now it feels like that the Who Dat Nation is just waiting on the referees to screw them. That they're kind of waiting within the game for that call to come.
You have to ask the question because the statistics with the overturns or lack thereof of pass interference challenges are startling. They're so startling that we have decided that this is going to be a one-and-done rule. They're going to overturn this at the owners' meetings next spring. They're going to listen. We threw you a bone. We decided that we would experiment with this. Overwhelmingly, we think that the officials are getting these calls right on the field. It's a giant waste of time. We're not going to do this. But the 2% of calls that we're going to overturn, one of them is almost going to cost the Saints a football game again. And this is now 3 games in a course of, 11 plus the championship game. So you cost the Saints a championship game. I don't know that it cost the Saints the game at the Coliseum this year, but it sure was a big turning point when they take Cam Jordan's touchdown off the board.
Yeah.
And then this game. Okay, so that's 3 in less than a season. I almost feel like, when Dale Brown was jousting with the NCAA back in the 90s, it was like, listen, we are going to do everything we can until we find you doing something because you have just jousted at our windmill for too long. We're going to get you. And that's how it feels. It really does.
Hanny, Jordy asked this question. I said you would probably, your knowledge before you go would be best to draw upon. Have you ever heard a team immediately in the post game look forward and talk about a team the way that LSU is talking about Texas A&M right now?
It usually happens when there's like a high ranking, a championship on the line. For instance, if Auburn and Alabama were playing next week for the Western Division title, I can understand where they would ask those teams after beating Stanford and Western Carolina, the story is not those games, it's the one coming up. But for a game where the Western Division championship has already been decided, A&M is playing for, whatever bowl game that they're going to be in, LSU is clinched into the championship game. No, generally it's not. Generally it's not like that. And I think we've all got an idea. I said in the post game that there's been a reckoning. It is the only word I can come up. I was trying to come up with something nicer than that, but a reckoning for LSU on this. That's the way that they feel. And I thought that Burrow handled it about as well as possible when they asked him, are you looking forward to the game next year? Oh, yeah. And he's got that kind of little sideways grin, and then it's, well, why? And he's smart enough now, he's media savvy enough to know what they wanted, and he wasn't going to give it to him. He's like, oh, well, to go 12-0.
That's good.
It was perfect. Okay. Made his point without having to make his point.
That's so good.
Mr. Fudd, before we let you go, we have about 30 seconds. You're retiring from show. Does this mean that you're out of Song of Purple and Gold?
No, check with my agent because there's some provisions in the contract. So I think we can make an exception.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Enjoy retirement, sir. It's great to hear from you. Thank you.